Hey everyone, back again with another deep dive into the world of AI. It seems like every day something new pops up, and frankly, keeping up can be exhausting.
I agree. It's moving so fast.
But that's why we're here. Today we're going deep on DeepSeek, a new player that's catching a lot of attention.
Especially for folks who are into coding.
We're just love getting into the more technical side of things.
Right.
Now, I know you've all probably heard of ChatGPT,
Of course.
but DeepSeek offers a really interesting alternative, particularly if open source technology is your jam.
For sure. Open source is a huge advantage.
Let's get into it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
For those who might be hearing about it for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
can we start with just like the basics? What exactly is DeepSeek?
Absolutely. DeepSeek, founded in 2023, has been making waves developing its own family of large language models, or LLMs, as they're known in the AI world.
Okay, so LLMs, I'm guessing that's a core part of what DeepSeek does. Definitely, they're central to its functionality. They have the DeepSeek LLM, which comes in different sizes. And then there's DeepSeek Coder, their specialized tool designed specifically for programming.
Multiple sizes, huh? That's piquing my curiosity.
Well, think of it this way. The bigger the LLM, the more data it's trained on, the more parameters it has. It's like different levels of brain power to handle different tasks, from simple stuff to really complex challenges.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like having different AI experts for different jobs.
Exactly. And here's a key takeaway for you. DeepSeek is known for its exceptional performance in generating code, especially for niche programming languages that other AI struggle with.
Oh, so the kind of languages that make most people's eyes glaze over.
Exactly. The ones that can be a real headache to work with, but DeepSeek seems to handle them with ease.
That's a pretty big deal for, well, anyone who works with those languages. So how does it all work? I mean, how does DeepSeek actually do its magic behind the scenes?
Good question. At its core, DeepSeek uses a transformer architecture, similar to other LLMs.
Transformer architecture. That sounds pretty technical.
It is, but the key here is their architecture is specifically optimized to handle both text and code with remarkable efficiency. Imagine trying to understand a novel and a complex software program at the same time. That's kind of what DeepSeek is built to do.
Whoa, that's quite the balancing act.
It is, and they pull it off remarkably well.
Okay, so it can handle both text and code, but how does it actually learn? Do they just like force feed it data, or is there something more to it?
Their training approach is a bit unique. It's a combination of supervised learning and reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF.
RLHF, catchy acronym.
Haha, yeah. But essentially, it's like training a junior developer. You provide guidance, give examples, but then you also incorporate feedback to refine the output.
So it's not just absorbing information, it's learning how to apply it based on human input.
Exactly. That's what sets it apart. And this approach lets DeepSeek excel at understanding not only human language, but also computer code.
That's pretty impressive. And speaking of computer code, one thing that really caught my eye in the research was DeepSeek's ability to analyze and rewrite database queries.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. It can potentially lead to some pretty significant performance boosts. We're talking about speed increases of up to 50% in data retrieval, which is huge for anyone working with large data sets.
That's insane. I can see why people are getting excited about DeepSeek. But let's get practical for a moment.
Sure.
Who exactly is using this thing? Is it just a haven for hardcore programmers, or can mere mortals like myself find some value in it?
It's attracting a surprisingly diverse crowd, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, you have the software developers who are flocking to DeepSeek Coder for help with everything from generating code to squashing those pesky bugs.
So like having an AI coding buddy.
Exactly. But it goes beyond that. Researchers are using DeepSeek to dig deep into data and explore new horizons in their fields. Businesses are finding ways to integrate it into their workflows. Even individuals are using it for things like creative writing or tackling complex problems.
So it's not just a one-trick pony, it's more like a versatile Swiss Army knife for anyone who wants to leverage AI?
You could say that. And the choice really comes down to finding the right tool for the task at hand.
Speaking of other tools,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of have to address the elephant in the room.
Aha, yeah, ChatGPT.
Yeah, how does DeepSeek stack up against the current darling of the AI world?
It's not really about one being better than the other. They have different strengths.
Okay, fair enough. So what are DeepSeek's superpowers? What makes it stand out in this crowded AI landscape?
Well, we've already touched on its coding capabilities, especially when it comes to those niche languages.
Right.
But beyond that, a few things make it really appealing. For one, it's open source.
So anyone can peek under the hood and see how it works.
Exactly. That kind of transparency fosters collaboration and allows for customization to fit specific needs. Plus, DeepSeek offers a lot of flexibility in how you can use it.
How so?
Well, you can choose the model size that works best for you, depending on the complexity of your tasks and your computational resources.
So it's not one size fits all.
Not at all. And finally, DeepSeek's really carved out a niche for itself in excelling at technical and scientific tasks. It's really a powerful tool for those domains.
Okay, so we've got open, flexible, and tech-leaning. What about ChatGPT? Where does it hold the advantage?
Well, ChatGPT has a larger user base and a more mature ecosystem. It's been around longer.
It's had more time to bake, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. It's had more real-world testing and refinement. It also has a broader base of general knowledge, making it pretty good at handling a wide range of conversational topics.
So more of an all-rounder.
You got it. And it has a larger library of integrated tools and plugins, which expands its functionality.
So it's more about integration and a broader knowledge base. Got it. But here's the million-dollar question. Why should those of us who aren't programmers care about DeepSeek? What's in it for us?
That's a great question. DeepSeek's impact goes way beyond just making coding easier. It represents a significant step forward for open source AI.
And that's important because
Because it democratizes the technology. It gives more people the opportunity to explore, understand, and contribute to its development, not just big tech companies.
so it's about leveling the playing field.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just access. DeepSeek's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in natural language processing and code generation with its innovative approach to model architecture and training. This kind of innovation benefits the entire field of AI, not just DeepSeek itself.
So they're raising the bar for everyone.
That's one way to put it.
All right, I'm sold on the bigger picture stuff, but let's get down to brass tacks. What can this thing actually do? We've talked about high-level concepts, but what are some tangible examples of DeepSeek's capabilities?
Sure, let's start with natural language processing, NLP for short. DeepSeek, it goes beyond just understanding words. It can actually grasp the nuances of human language. It can explain complex topics in a way that even someone without specialized knowledge can get it. It can translate languages flawlessly. And it can even generate creative content like stories or proposals.
So it's like a personal translator, explainer, and creative writer all rolled into one.
Pretty much.
That's pretty neat. What about coding? We touched on that earlier, but can you give us some specific examples of what it can do there?
Absolutely. Let's say you need a Python script to analyze a data set. DeepSeek can generate that for you. Or maybe you're stuck on a bug in your JavaScript code. It can help you find potential solutions.
It's like having an AI pair programmer by your side.
Yeah. And it doesn't stop there. DeepSeek is a problem-solving machine. It can tackle tough technical and mathematical challenges, things like optimizing database queries or solving complex equations.
So it's like a supercharged calculator on steroids.
Haha, you could say that. It can also handle document analysis. It can process and analyze large volumes of text, like research papers or even legal documents.
That sounds like a lifesaver for anyone drowning in information.
It can be.
Okay, we've seen the shiny side, but let's get real for a moment. No tech is perfect. What are some of DeepSeek's limitations or potential drawbacks that we should keep in mind?
That's a fair point. While DeepSeek offers a lot of advantages, it's important to be aware of its limitations. One thing is it's a relatively new platform compared to, say, ChatGPT, so it hasn't had as much time for real-world testing and refinement.
So it's still a bit green.
You could say that, and because it's newer, it has a smaller user community. That means fewer resources, community-developed tools, and overall support.
Okay, so a little less hand-holding. What else?
Also, while the documentation is constantly improving, it might not be as comprehensive as some of the more mature platforms.
Right.
And lastly, when it comes to integrating with other tools and plugins, DeepSeek currently has fewer options compared to some of its competitors.
So it might not play as nicely with other tools just yet.
That's something to consider, but they are working on it.
Okay, so we've got a pretty good handle on what DeepSeek is, how it works, the good, the bad, the whole nine yards. But let's say someone's ready to dive in and start using it. What are their options? Where do they even begin?
There are a few ways to engage with DeepSeek, depending on your needs and, well, how tech-savvy you are. For developers who want to directly integrate its power into their apps, API integration is the way to go.
So basically plug DeepSeek's brainpower right into their software.
Precisely. And for those who prefer a more hands-on approach, there's a user-friendly web interface. It's a chat-like environment where you can type your requests and get responses from the AI.
No coding required.
Not for the web interface, no.
That's good to know. What about the folks who love to tinker? Is there anything for them?
Absolutely. For the more technically inclined who want to customize things, there's the option of open source implementation. You can run the model locally on your machine or even modify the code yourself.
So you can get under the hood and tweak things.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've got a solid understanding of what DeepSeek is, how it works, its pros, its cons.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind tour.
But I always like to leave our listeners with something to think about, some food for thought.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on the future implications of DeepSeek? Where do you see this technology leading us?
That's a fascinating question. I believe DeepSeek has the potential to really advance AI capabilities in specialized fields like medicine, engineering, scientific research. Imagine AI-powered tools helping doctors diagnose diseases more accurately or engineers design better infrastructure.
Wow, that's getting into some pretty serious sci-fi territory.
It is, and with its dedication to open source, it could really democratize these technologies, making them accessible to a much wider audience.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about who has access to it.
Exactly. But I think the most exciting part is that we're only at the beginning. DeepSeek's innovations could pave the way for even more sophisticated and capable AI systems in the future. Who knows what breakthroughs we might see?
It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly transformative.
I agree. And that brings us to the question I think everyone listening should consider. Will DeepSeek's open source approach and its focus on technical fields revolutionize specific industries?
That's a question worth pondering.
It is, and I encourage everyone to explore DeepSeek further and see how it might fit into their world.
The future of AI is unfolding right before our eyes, and DeepSeek's playing a big part in shaping that future.
Absolutely. It's going to be fascinating to see what unfolds.
I can't wait to see what they do next. And who knows, maybe one of you listening will be the one to make the next big breakthrough using DeepSeek's.
That's the beauty of it. The possibilities are endless.
The future of AI is in our hands.
Absolutely. And that's both exciting and a little daunting, isn't it?
It is. But that's a conversation for another time.
Sounds like a plan.
We've got a lot more to unpack in this deep dive, so stay tuned.
We'll be right back. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see how it's all developing.
It is, but whenever we talk about AI,
Uh-huh.
these big kind of philosophical questions always come up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, what about jobs?
Right.
Are robots going to take over the world? Are we all doomed?
Uh-huh.
I'm sure some of our listeners are thinking the same thing.
Those are definitely valid concerns, yeah.
Right.
And they're worth talking about, absolutely. But I think it's important to remember that AI is, at its heart, a tool.
Okay.
It's a powerful tool,
Mhm.
but it's a tool that we control.
So it's not about AI versus humans, but more about AI working with humans.
Exactly. Think of it this way. AI can handle all those tedious, repetitive tasks.
The boring stuff.
Yeah, and that frees us up, us humans, to focus on the more creative, strategic, and, well, human aspects of our work.
So it's like AI amplifies our potential instead of replacing us.
Precisely. And it's still early days, there's a lot of development still to come.
Right?
And we need to have these conversations, about the ethical implications.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We need to be mindful of the potential risks and figure out how to make sure it's used responsibly.
100%.
Now, switching gears a bit.
Okay.
I'm curious, what gets you personally excited about DeepSeek? Like, what's the thing that really makes you think, wow, this is something special?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think what excites me the most is the potential it has to empower individuals, to level the playing field when it comes to technology.
Okay.
Because of the open source nature of the platform.
Right.
Anyone can use it. Anyone with an internet connection can tap into this power. That's incredible.
So it's about democratizing access, right?
Exactly. It opens up so many opportunities.
Yeah, for people who might not have had access before.
Yeah, and it can lead to more innovation. Like, imagine a student in a remote area using DeepSeek to learn to code.
Yep.
And they go on to build something amazing. That's what inspires me.
That's a pretty powerful image.
It is. It's about empowering people to shape their own futures.
Okay, well, speaking of shaping the future, let's talk about DeepSeek's business model for a moment.
All right.
How does all of this work financially? Are they a nonprofit? Do they sell their tech? What's the story there?
That's a really good question. DeepSeek's business model is actually pretty interesting.
Okay.
It's multifaceted. They combine open source with commercial offerings.
So they give some away for free?
Yeah, they offer free access to certain versions so individuals and researchers can experiment without worrying about cost.
So they're giving back, but also building a business.
Right. But for businesses that need more, they have paid plans and enterprise services.
Gotcha.
So it's a win-win.
They support AI advancement, but also make money.
Exactly. And it aligns with their values, accessibility, transparency.
Yeah, it's a cool model.
It really is.
They've gotten a lot of attention for it.
Yeah, they're growing fast.
So I think it's time to recap, just to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Sounds good.
So first and foremost, DeepSeek is shaking things up with its approach to LLMs.
Right.
And their commitment to open source.
It's huge.
It's not just about making cool tech.
Yeah.
They're trying to make AI accessible and beneficial for everyone.
I think it's important to remember they're not just trying to be another ChatGPT.
Right.
Their focus is more on those technical and scientific applications.
Sure.
And of course, the open source thing is really what sets them apart.
Yeah, that's a big one. And their technical capabilities are impressive, right? Natural language processing, code generation, problem solving, document analysis.
It's a pretty versatile tool.
Yeah, for a young company, they've already done a lot.
They have, and the response has been really positive.
It has. And their business model, the open source combined with commercial offerings, it's pretty innovative.
It is. They're walking the walk.
They're not just in it for the money.
Exactly. They want to democratize access to AI.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
It is.
It's like they're building a movement.
I like that, yeah.
They're inspiring people to explore AI.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about DeepSeek in general.
Already have.
But we've got some great questions from our listeners.
Oh, perfect.
And I think it's time to dive into those.
Let's do it.
All right, so first question. I'm a writer, not a programmer. Is DeepSeek even relevant to me?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
DeepSeek has a lot to offer creative folks, too, not just techies. Remember those natural language processing capabilities? Super helpful for writers.
In what way?
Well, you can generate ideas, brainstorm storylines, even polish your writing.
Oh, so it's like an AI brainstorming partner.
Exactly. You can bounce ideas off of it, get feedback.
That's neat.
And as DeepSeek evolves, we can expect even more feedback specifically for creative writing.
Like what?
Oh, imagine tools that analyze the emotional impact of your writing, suggest different words to evoke certain feelings, will even generate entire scenes based on your prompts.
Whoa, that's next level.
Yeah. AI is not just for tech anymore.
Okay, that's cool. All right, next question. I'm worried about the ethical stuff. How can we be sure DeepSeek is used responsibly?
That's a really important question.
It is.
And honestly, DeepSeek's commitment to open source is a big part of the answer.
Okay, how so?
Because it's open and transparent, everyone can see how it works.
Right.
That means it's easier to spot potential problems, biases.
Yeah, more eyes on the code.
Exactly. And that leads to more discussion and collaboration.
So collective responsibility.
Yes. And DeepSeek is part of that conversation.
Okay.
They're working with ethicists, researchers, policymakers.
To make sure it's used for good.
Exactly.
That's good to hear.
But AI ethics is an ongoing discussion. It's not a one-time thing.
For sure.
As technology changes, we need to adapt.
Okay, last question for this part.
Okay.
This one's from a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a tech expert, but I'm curious how DeepSeek could help my business.
I love that question. You don't have to be a tech expert to use DeepSeek.
Okay, good to know.
Remember that user-friendly web interface we talked about?
Yeah.
It's designed to be easy to use, even if you're not a programmer.
Okay, so how could it help a business?
Oh, in so many ways. Imagine automating tasks like customer service, email marketing.
So it frees up time.
Exactly. And it can help you analyze data,
Like what?
customer feedback, market trends, growth opportunities.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And it's affordable.
Even for small businesses?
Yes, it's all about democratizing access to AI.
It's pretty amazing how much ground we've covered.
It is.
We've talked about so much.
We have.
From different professions to ethics to small businesses.
AI is everywhere.
It is. And it's important to remember,
Yeah.
AI isn't just about robots and sci-fi.
Right.
It's a powerful force that's changing the world.
Absolutely.
And we need to make sure we're using it for good.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
It really is. AI is changing everything so fast.
It's everywhere you look. And with tools like DeepSeek becoming more and more accessible, people have the power to not just understand AI, can actually shape it. That's a huge shift.
It's like, yeah, we're not just passive observers anymore. We can actually get in there and tinker with the building blocks of AI.
That's exactly it. The balance of power is changing. It's not just the big tech companies and governments calling all the shots anymore. Anyone with a laptop and Wi-Fi can leverage AI.
It's like a technological renaissance. Knowledge and tools spreading everywhere.
Such a great way to put it. This shift is leading to so much creativity and innovation. Honestly, I think it's unlike anything we've seen before. People from all walks of life building businesses, tackling problems in their communities, making art.
It's amazing, but also, I'll be honest, it's a little bit overwhelming. Like, are we ready for this?
I get that feeling too. It's a lot to take in, but I'm ultimately optimistic. AI has the potential to make things better, especially if we're careful about how we develop it.
Yeah, if we're responsible and thinking about the ethical implications, and that seems to be something DeepSeek is doing pretty well.
Totally. They seem to be really committed to ethical development. But let's zoom out for a second. What do you see on the horizon for AI in general?
I mean, it feels like we're just scratching the surface, right? Like we're just starting to understand what AI can even do.
Exactly. As it keeps evolving, there are going to be applications we can't even imagine right now. It's going to fundamentally change how we live and work.
I agree. It's both exciting and a little scary, but I also think you're right to be optimistic. AI can be a powerful force for good.
Totally. But we have to be thoughtful. We have to prioritize ethical development.
Yeah, that's key. We need to keep talking about this, about the risks and the benefits of AI.
I agree. It's a conversation that needs to keep happening. We have to make sure AI is used to empower people, solve problems, and create a future that works for everyone.
Absolutely. And it seems like DeepSeek, with their open source approach and their focus on accessibility, is helping push that conversation in the right direction.
Definitely. They're setting a good example, showing that AI can be a force for good.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive, exploring DeepSeek and thinking about all of the big implications of AI.
I know, it's been a whirlwind.
Hopefully everyone listening now has a better understanding of this incredible technology and all of the possibilities it holds.
I hope so too.
And as always, we want to encourage everyone to keep learning, exploring, and joining in the conversation about AI, because ultimately it's going to affect all of us.
Absolutely. The future of AI is in our hands, and that's a big responsibility, but also a huge opportunity.
It is. So thanks for joining us as we took this deep dive into DeepSeek and the future of AI.
Thanks, everyone.